Hello, I'm Lucas from TOEFL.magoosh.com, and I'm talking about the TOEFL, obviously, because I'm the TOEFL guy from Magoosh, and I do this every Tuesday. Today, some important advice for general English learning. How to improve your listening skills. So I have 5 pieces of advice for you today about how to improve your listening in general, not just for the TOEFL. All right, first, this one is big and it's obvious, but I need to mention it. I need to say this. Experience. Listening a lot. You can't improve your listening by reading. You can a little bit, but not much. You can't improve your listening by studying grammar alone, by studying vocabulary alone. You need to listen to native speakers like me, or hopefully in some more authentic, some more real English situations like movies or radio, or even people having a conversation on the street. Those real English listening experiences are very important. You should be listening to English as often as possible. So, for example, if you are driving, listen to English radio. If you're on the bus, listen to English radio in your headphones, say. We have many podcast recommendations or radio recommendations or video recommendations on our blog. Check out magoosh.com/TOEFL, and you'll find some recommendations for that. But keep listening to English. Now, that's easy. So what? Listen more than once. Listen to everything 3 times, unless it's easy. If you understand it perfectly the first time, it's not good practice. You need to understand only some of it the first time. Maybe 50%, 75%. I think the sweet spot, the perfect spot, is about 75% understanding. If you listen 3 times, that should give you some of the context you need. But don't just listen all 3 times. The first time, listen. Understand everything you can. The second time, listen with subtitles, with some text, if you can do this. This is great for videos, especially, for example, TED.com, TED.com. Lots of interesting talks in English with subtitles. So you can watch the video 1 time, just listening, and the second time, reading the subtitles at the same time. So this will show you what words you missed. This will tell you what you didn't understand the first time. The third time you listen, you're going to do something else. Listen and repeat. So you're going to listen, and then after a sentence or a phrase, especially a new phrase with new vocabulary, stop the video, stop the audio, whatever you're listening to, and say it yourself. And don't just say the same words, say it in the same way. Try to sound like the person who said it. This is good speaking practice, but it's also good listening practice. If you say something in one way and then you hear someone else say it in the same way, it's much easier to understand it. If you speak differently than the people you hear, it's harder to understand. So you want to learn the same accent, the same way of speaking. It's not perfect. You won't have a perfect accent. That's okay. But try your best to imitate the same rhythm, the same speed, and the same sounds from that native speaker. That's a big help for hearing the same phrases in the future. And the fifth one is context. Now, the first time you listen in those 3 times, there should be some things you don't understand. That's okay. Context is key. You should be able to understand the big ideas. Even if one word or phrase or even sentence is unclear, don't get stuck. Don't stop the first time you listen. Don't repeat the first time you listen. Just try to understand the big ideas, the context of it. And based on that, you can guess what you think is probably the meaning of the sentence or phrase or word that caused trouble. If you can get the big ideas, that's what's most important. And then listening again gives you the more specific language. And I should also mention, this isn't one of my 5 tips, but do this with more than one person. Don't listen to only me, for example. You need to listen to other speakers of English. So right now, on YouTube, go to a different channel. Listen to someone else. Come back here next week on Tuesday to hear more from me, but you need to hear varied, different people from different places with different accents so that you can learn how they all are similar in the right ways, what native speakers more generally sound like. So again, I'm Lucas from TOEFL.magoosh.com. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you next week here at TOEFL Tuesdays. Happy studying, enjoy listening.